What's going on, guys? Today I'm back with another H.A.T format replay review for you guys. If you're interested in sending in your H.A.T format replays, you can go down to the video description and find all the information on how to go about sending those in. Anyways, the matchup I have for you today, we actually have the finals of the most recent Pleiades payout, which was Riftwa, who is going to be on Madolche hands, versus Blab, who is going to be on Koa'Ki Meiru Firefist hands. Now, I had multiple people tell me that I needed to check out this finals match, so I'm really excited to actually get into it. Both of these decks are really cool, and obviously both of these players, which I've shown off on the channel before, are also extremely good players. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Here, it looks like Blab is actually going to win the rock, paper, scissors and get to start this one out. Opening hands, we see Madolche, Threatening Roar, a very interesting card to see in Madolche, Instant Fusion, Fire Hand, and Torrential, so overall a very solid hand. And on the other side, Breakthrough Skill, Iron Core, Fiendish Chain, Bear, and Urnite. So obviously already opening Urnite plus the Iron Core is very strong, and having two pieces of disruption. And here Blab will get a draw for turn, getting a copy of Bottomless, so even more disruption. Now here they're going to start out their turn by normal summoning that copy of Urnite, using the effect of revealing the Iron Core, and special summoning a copy of Crusader, which I'm sure they're going to go into an Xyz here, going for a defensive copy of Tiger King. I'm pretty sure both players knew what each other was on, so summoning this in defense just to kind of play around the hands here, and then here using the Tiger King to get a copy of Tenki, activating the Tenki, and then picking up yet another copy of Urnite for follow-up before going and setting 3 back row and passing it over to Riftwa, who gets a copy of Hootcake. Now from here, they're going to take a second to think, normal summoning that copy of Madolche, and Blab is thinking here, and they are going to go and actually use that copy of Breakthrough Skill, cutting Riftwa off of a potential search here. And after that, will we see the Instant Fusion? We will. So going for that Instant Fusion, summoning a copy of Marvelous, and then let's see what they choose to overlay into, going into H.A.T, which is already live, and here using it, but we do know that Fiendish Chain is there, so negating the copy of H.A.T, and then from here, Riftwa is going to just set the copy of Torrential. Interesting why they're holding the Threatening Roar. I'm not entirely sure here, honestly, but here Blab is going to draw for turn, getting a copy of Duality, which isn't bad, but now they have the option. Are they gonna go for the Duality, or maybe even go for the Bear wouldn't be bad here, or if they really want to push in for a lot, they could go for the copy of Urnite, depending on what they have the read of this, because in theory, there is a world in which, I'm not entirely sure, I'd have to go back and check Blab's list if they are on a copy of Tensu, or on, you know, multiple Tiger Kings, because if they were, they could always just go like Urnite into another copy of Crusader, overlay into another copy of Tiger King, set the copy of what's it called, Tensu, and then activate Tensu, additional summon the copy of Bear, and then Bear can use its effect, getting rid of the Tenki, more than likely, popping the copy of H.A.T and swinging in, but it really comes down to kind of if they had the read that this is Torrential or something else. So let's see what they actually choose to do here, and no, it looks like they are just going to go play it a little more safe, summoning that copy of Bear, and that is a prime time for Riftwa to go and actually activate that copy of Torrential, clearing all the monsters, but Blab is now free to actually go and use that Duality because they didn't special summon. So one of the benefits of the play they actually went for here, revealing Wolfbark, Soul Charge, and Upstart, and I'm sure that copy of Wolfbark or Soul Charge is looking good to them right now. So taking the copy of Soul Charge, it seems, and then from here, just passing turn, there's not a whole lot else they can do really. Riftwa will get another Madolche for turn, and let's see what they do, choosing to go for the Hootcake, which is going to be met with Bottomless right away, and they had a copy of, you know, well, actually multiple monsters, so this definitely had plenty of targets there, but that is basically going to be all for Riftwa's turn, unless, yep, they are going to choose to set that copy of Threatening Roar over to Blab, who gets now a copy of Diamond Core, so now they definitely might push in, given how much card advantage they have on Riftwa at the moment, and just the card advantage they have, and so let's see here. Taking a second to think, And they're going to go for the copy of Diamond Core, adding another copy of Urnite. And then from here, they might do kind of the play that I mentioned before, but first they are going to go and activate the Diamond Core, banishing it to protect all of the Koa'Ki mirrors from destruction this turn, summoning that copy of Urnite using the effect revealing the Iron Core. And then from here, special summoning a copy of Crusader, and then going to battle phase, just trying to push in for some good damage here. And maybe it looks like, oh, Riftway is actually going to take it also, using this Threatening Roar probably later on, just when it actually is going to be needed the most. And so main phase 2 Blab is going to think here, and let's see what they choose to go for. Just passing here. Okay, and then obviously the Diamond Core lasts until the end of the turn, so these are going to have protection from the maintenance cost here, and Riftway is going to pick up a copy of Breakthrough Skill for turn. Honestly, a little interesting that they kept these around, but I guess there's just so much benefit if they are able to stick. And I mean, even if they went for an Xyz and Riftway was able to go into something like a copy of Tiramisu, I guess they just lose both regardless. So a little interesting there. I'm kind of curious why they chose to just leave these, other than just applying more pressure if they aren't able to actually go into something here. But at the same time, this kind of falls back into summoning the Tiger King in defense in a lot of cases, where now this does make them a little more susceptible to the hands here. So here, Rift was going to take a second to think, and they are just going to go again for that Magdalene line here and add a copy of Angeli. So they know they're going to be able to survive at least a turn because of the Threatening Roar, which also is kind of good because sometimes this deck does need like an extender or something else to stay on board. So the Threatening Roar actually also allows them to make sure they keep a monster on board, given, you know, it's not removed from something like a Black Ship of Corn or just tons of other removal type cards. But anyways, here Riftway is then going to set that copy of Breakthrough Skill and pass it over. Here Blab gets a copy of Tenki, and this could be a very strong turn for Blab. Let's see what they choose to do using that copy of Urnite, revealing that Iron Core, summoning a copy of Ice, and then from here, taking a second to think, they are going to go and activate the copy of Tenki, picking up a copy of Wolfbark. And so now they have some good follow-up if need be. Well, I guess they haven't even normal summoned yet, and they do have that copy of Bear Engrave, so they technically could go for something early on if they wanted to. Torrential is already out of the way, and so here they are going to go and summon the copy of Wolfbark using the effect, summoning back the copy of Bear, and then from here, taking a second to think what they're going to go into, going for a copy of Kagetsuchi, which is going to use its effect to mill the top 5 cards of their deck, hitting a Soul Charge, Upstart, Firehand, Duality, and Fiendish, and then going to battle phase, attacking in, but here we are going to see Riftway actually go and activate that copy of Threatening Roar. So at the start of the battle phase, because if this were to attack and this was chained, the attack for that would still go through. But anyways, here, going main phase 2, going for a copy of Emerald and using the effect, probably trying to dig for some traps or something. Oh, actually, they're thinking, start a battle phase, big think, sorry, it's all good. Okay, so maybe this is still battle phase. They were thinking if they wanted to actually do something, maybe use this copy of Breakthrough Skill on something, or I guess at that rate, maybe they were thinking after, maybe there was a little lag, I'm not entirely sure, but here we are seeing the Emerald shuffling back the Ice, Crusader, and Urnite. And yeah, just trying to probably get some traps here. Unfortunately, getting another copy of the Iron Core, which, yeah, no, I mean, that's fine. Probably, yeah, they definitely wanted to get some more traps or something here. But anyways, here it looks like revealing that copy of Urnite. For the Urnite here, Riftway gets another copy of Threatening Roar, so it's definitely going to keep them in it. And now they can start kind of picking apart this board by summoning the copy of Angeli, using the effect and tributing it off to summon a copy of Hootcake. And then from here, the Hootcake can trigger, banishing the copy of Exciton, summoning a Messengelato. Messengelato is going to pick up a copy of Ticket here. And then after that, overlaying into a copy of Tiramisu, activating the Ticket, using the Tiramisu, detaching the Messengelato, shuffling back the Messengelato and Magdalene, and non-targeting, shuffling, let's see what they're going to go for, the Kagetsuchi and the copy of Urnite, and then here the Ticket can trigger to pick up a copy of Messengelato, which can be special summoned here because the Tiramisu is on board, and then from here, Messengelato can trigger yet again, getting a copy of Chateau, and just making sure, yeah, this shouldn't be once per turn, it's just they have to have a beast-type Madolche monster. So here, activating the Chateau, shuffling back all the monsters in graveyard, which is just going to be that copy of Angeli, going to battle phase and running over the copy of Emerald, and then swinging in for a lot of damage. Keep in mind all the Madolches are gaining 500 attack, and then main phase 2 setting that copy of Threatening Roar before passing it over to Blab, who gets yet another copy of Urnite. So just all the Urnites. So here we are going to see Urnite summoned, revealing the copy of Iron Core, but we do know that Riftwa has... I thought they were going to break through that, but I guess not, given, I guess they also knew that they added a soul charge, right? Or was this already activated there? I don't entirely remember, but, oh wait, no, one was milled. So yeah, they definitely knew that that copy of soul charge is in hand, so it probably wouldn't necessarily make sense in some cases to use that. So just allowing it through here. And let's see, summoning that copy of Ice, and now Ice is very good in this position. So let's see, going, and rather than using the effect, they are just going to go for an Exciton, using it, and here Rift was going to go and actually use that copy of Breakthrough Skill, negating the copy of Exciton, and now the Soul Charge is going to kind of do what it was going to do before, going for, it looks like, Urnite, and... they're having a little back and forth, going for Urnite and a copy of Wolfbark there. So going down to just 1,000, but now they can go and use the Wolfbark, bringing back out that copy of Bear, overlaying into a copy of Black Ship. And then from here, Black Ship can get rid of the Hoot Cake, sending it to graveyard and doing 1,000. Riftwa is only at 19 as well, so it is a very close game here. And then Urnite's going to trigger and reveal that Iron Core, summon that copy of Crusader, and then overlay into a 101 to take probably that Tiramisu. Yeah, taking the Tiramisu, and then after that, just passing, here Riftwa gets a copy of Photon Thrasher, and they're going to normal summon the copy of Firehand, go for a copy of Black Ship, and that is going to be enough. So a very close game, and honestly, I'm surprised Riftwa was able to take that with how strong Blab's hand was, but they really just didn't see any back row. But they did, keep seeing Urnite is not bad. A different rank 4 every single turn definitely can't hurt. But here, moving into game number 2, Blab will get to start this one out. Opening hands, we see Threatening Roar, Instant Fusion, Lance, MST, and Angeli. And on the other side, we see Urnite, DD Crow, Diamond Core, Breakthrough Skill, and a copy of Warning. Again, a very strong hand here from Blab, who is going to draw for turn here, getting a copy of Iron Core. So yeah, they just have everything they need, honestly, for this. So let's see what they choose to do. It looks like they had to go for a second there, but here we're going to see the Diamond Core adding a copy of Urnite. A very good play, just doing that to make sure that Riftwa doesn't know they already had a copy of Urnite. Here, summoning it, revealing the Iron Core, the basic thing we have been seeing in this match, going for a copy of Crusader, and then from here, just setting a few back row and revealing that copy of Urnite. And here it makes a little more sense to leave these around because you're not exactly afraid of the hands because you have the copy of Warning. So even if they summon a hand and try to run it in, you can always warning the effect of the hand. So definitely not bad. But anyways, here Riftwa is going to go and get a copy of Hoot Cake. And let's see, going for a blind to MST, just trying to take care of one of the back row, which is going to get rid of that copy of Breakthrough Skill, which is really unfortunate for Riftwa here because they had the Lance for whatever the other piece of interaction would be, but the fact that the other one is Warning, they can't really do anything there, and obviously they don't know it yet, but here's summoning the copy of Angeli, using the effect, and here Blab is going to think. They say it's good, so actually letting all of this through, and then here the Hoot Cake is summoned. Hoot Cake is going to attempt to use the effect, or maybe it's just on summon, DD Crowing, so that won't be able to resolve, but here we do know that the Instant Fusion is in hand, so activating that, going for the Fusionist, and then going for a copy of Mechwhip Engineer, and Blab is going to think here, maybe this is a sign that, they aren't in the best position to have to go for this, and that is going to be met with a copy of Warning, so getting rid of the Engineer here, and then after that, just setting the Threatening Roar, which again is not bad at all in this position, and over to Blab, who gets a copy of Bottomless. From here, it looks like they're going to banish the copy of Diamond Core to protect the Koa'Ki, then activating Urnite, and revealing that Iron Core, summoning a copy of Crusader, normal summoning the copy of Urnite, going for another one, and, they don't even have to worry about anything like Torrential or anything because of that Diamond Core, which is so nice, and while that would be game right there, basically, here we are seeing that Threatening Roar, keeping Riftwa in this game for sure, and main phase 2, there's definitely a lot of options to go for, and it looks like they're going to overlay into a copy of Tiger King, going for a copy of Tenki. Tenki can then add a copy of Bear, and And after that, going for ice, which let me just double check this. This says you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard to destroy one special summon monster on the field. So being able to get rid of any monster on the field is something you don't see very often, going and trying to do that. But anyways, here it looks like, what were they? Oh, they were just trying to get it into graveyard, it seems. So they were attempting, or using this effect, attempting to pop, what was that, the Crusader, I believe? And then this is doing what? Once per turn, detach one XYZ material from this card, negate the effects of all face-up monsters when this card is sent. I'm not entirely sure what just happened. Here they're using the effect just to detach a material, but I guess that way they were just, oh, I think they were doing that just to get a monster in graveyard, and now I would assume maybe they're going for Emerald. So they were just trying to get enough cards into graveyard monsters, because now they're at 3, that they'll be able to shuffle things back and get a draw, if I had to guess here, which, yeah, okay, so that is what they're going for. I was a little confused for a second there, like, what is going on? But here, shuffling everything back and getting a copy of Duality, which isn't going to be live here, but they can bluff set it with that copy of Bottomless. Well, the Bottomless is live, but here Riftwood gets a copy of Thrasher, which, checking their grave, they definitely have monsters in graveyard for the Hoot Cake, so this might be all right for them. Here, special summoning the copy of Thrasher, and Blab is going to think here, and they are going to Bottomless it. Okay, so, I guess maybe the thought with this might be that if they special summon this and the other card in hand ends up being something along the lines of a Magdalene will be able to dodge the Bottomless here, meaning they'd get a search, and then if they go into Exciton, it'll just clear completely. So I think just trying to keep them off of that potential play exactly. Here Rift was thinking about the Lance, and they are going to Lance the Thrasher. Then here we do see that copy of Hootcake coming down and banishing the Engineer, summoning a copy of Angeli, and then after that, Angeli is going to use its effect, tributing it off, summoning Messengelato. Messengelato is going to get a search here, and let's see what they choose to go for. Going for the ticket definitely makes sense here, or maybe not, going for the Chateau. So maybe, I guess that's also all right, because then they can pump these up. This will be able to clear the copy of Emerald, though this won't be able to actually get in. They definitely have the chance to go for a rank 4, so maybe even going for something like a 101, and then 101 take this. This can crash in with this, which could protect itself, and then this can get over this with the Chateau. But maybe, let's see here, no, they're gonna go for Exciton instead. Okay, very interesting, but here doing that definitely works. Exciton clearing the board, and then after that, activating the Chateau to just shuffle back the Madolches in graveyard, which I do know for this list, they were on 2 copies of Hootcake and 1 copy of Messengelato, so probably they just wanted those resources back as well. And so here, over to Blab, who gets a copy of Fiendish Chain, just setting it back over to Riftwa, who gets a copy of Summoner Monk, going to battle phase and swinging in, and surprisingly, Riftwa is in this. Here, Blab, though, gets a copy of Tenki, activating Tenki, picking up the Urnite, so they do have access to yet another rank 4 here, summoning the copy of Urnite, and using the effect, going for that copy of Crusader, going to battle phase, and here, the Crusader can attempt to get over this copy of Exciton here, and the Exciton's going to be chained. Breakthrough skill is going to be chained to that, negating the copy of Exciton and getting over it. And then here, Crusader is going to use its effect because it destroyed an opponent's monster by battle. So being able to add back that copy of Urnite from graveyard and then swinging in with the Urnite for some damage. Main phase 2 here, going for a copy of Ragna Zero, meaning any Madolche that is summoned is basically going to get destroyed right away. And so here, Riftwood does get a copy of Magdalene, and let's see, just choosing to set it over to Blab, who gets a copy of Reckon Power, and let's see, taking a second to think, are they going to just summon the Urnite? They are summoning Urnite, using the effect, going for that copy of Ice, maybe just swinging in here, which is exactly what's going to happen. Ice is going to get over the Magdalene, which is going to be added back to hand because of the Chateau, and then here, Riftwa's going to take a lot of damage here, going down to just 300. Cowboy for game. So we are moving on into a game number 3. Definitely a exciting match here. I thought for a second Blab was out of it, but they were able to just kind of find their way back into it. So moving on into a game number 3, we will get to see Riftwa start this one out. Opening hands, we see Mewtwo, Breakthrough Skill, MST, Magdalene, and Firehand. And on the other side, we see Warning, Diamond Core, Crusader, Fiendish Chain, and Ice Hand. So honestly, maybe the weakest hand we've seen from Blab so far, and I'd say an all-right hand here from Riftwa. It's definitely more of a turn 3 hand. The Magdalene being able to go, for example, and add a copy of Angeli, and then they have the Mewtwo Angeli combo, as well as just Firehand if they want to play it slow, though. Here, getting a copy of Max C for turn isn't bad at all, especially given how much you see that the Koa'Ki Meiru deck special summons, and it looks like Riftwa is going to choose to actually go and play it slow, setting the Firehand and some back row, and over to Blab, who gets a copy of Bear, and let's see. This time they don't have access to the core and a copy of Urnite, so just running out that copy of Crusader and then activating the Diamond Core to pick up a copy of Urnite, and after that, going to battle phase and attacking in, and here that Firehand is going to put in work, destroying the copy of Crusader, and then from there, it looks like the Crusader is going to trigger to pick up the copy of Diamond Core from Graveyard. This is an if effect, so it's not going to, miss timing or have any issues with the Firehand activating, and the Firehand here is going to float into a copy of Ice Hand. And funny enough, they almost would have potentially had, I guess it's tough to say for sure. They definitely wanted to be able to add back the copy of Diamond Core, but in theory, had they gone and actually used the Diamond Core and banished it, and then gone to run over the Firehand, the Firehand wouldn't be able to pop the copy of Crusader, so it wouldn't float there, and this would be protected, and at that rate, they would be able to, keep this around by revealing the Urnite they added, but they didn't necessarily have follow-up. So it seems like they really just had a big decision to make there, and unfortunately, it didn't necessarily pan out too well for them, though I will say right now they do have good follow-up, so maybe that'll be enough to actually, do something for them, having Urnite, and then this can obviously go and grab the Iron Core. But anyways, main phase 2, it looks like setting 2. Rift was going to go for that blind MST yet again, hitting the copy of Fiendish Chain. So again, that warning is just, blind MST proof. Here, Riftwa gets a copy of Threatening Roar, normal summoning the copy of Magdalene, and Blab is thinking if they're going to use that warning. Big thinking here, and they are going to use it, and the copy of Magdalene is going to be shuffled back into deck as it is in the possession. And from here, switching Ice Hand to attack, swinging in for some damage. Main phase 2, setting Threatening Roar back over to Blab, who gets a copy of Crusader. And here, it looks like Blab is going to run out that copy of Ice Hand, swinging in, or trying to, but Riftwood does have that copy of Threatening Roar, which is perfect here. And now Riftwood gets a copy of Thrasher, which isn't necessarily great in this position because of the Ice Hand being on board. And here it looks like just switching the Ice Hand to defense back over to Blab, who gets a copy of Crow. And let's see here. They're taking a second to think. And probably that, they're going to run out the copy of Crusader. Very interesting here, but it does work. Crusader is going to go and try to get over the copy of Ice Hand. We're going to see Riftwa activate that copy of Breakthrough Skill on the Crusader. Obviously, the Crusader would add back the Crusader here, which at that rate, I'm almost wondering why they wouldn't fire off the copy of Diamond Core, unless they had the read that this was Breakthrough Skill. Because had they gone for like Diamond Core, for example, and gone and got it into Graveyard, added like the Iron Core or something, then they'd be able to add this back, which would give them more follow-up potentially. But here, yeah, I guess it is going to be enough for that copy of Breakthrough Skill to be used here, and getting over that copy of Ice Hand. And then from here, we are going to see Ice Hand swinging for a little bit. Or wait, let me think here. Does this not add back the... Let me see. You can add one Koa'Ki Meiru card from your graveyard to your hand. So, it was negated. Right. I completely forgot that already. My apologies. So main phase 2, going for a copy of Rhapsody and banishing, it looks like, both hands, so just keeping the monsters out of the graveyard so Riftwa can't have access to a potential Hootcake here. And after that, we see Riftwa get a copy of Wiretap, special summoning the Photon Thrasher, going to battle phase, and that is going to clear the Rhapsody in Berserk, setting that copy of Wiretap. Here Blab gets a copy of the Iron Core, so they are free to kind of start going off here, activating the Diamond Core, getting a copy of Urnite, and from here, banishing the copy of Diamond Core, playing it very cautiously here, summoning that copy of Urnite, using the effect here, Riftwa will chain that copy of Max C, Ice is going to be summoned, and Riftwa gets a copy of Hootcake, so Mewtwo Hootcake is very strong. And let's see. Here, the Ice is going to activate, getting rid of that copy of Bear to pop the Thrasher, going to battle phase, swinging in for some very hefty damage here, and then main phase 2 just passing, so keeping these on board yet again, and Riftwa gets a copy of Angeli, so just another great draw. So now they have options, that is for sure, and let's see what they're going to choose to do, taking a second to think. And let's see, summoning that copy of Mewtwo, we knew that was happening, and here it looks like they are going to go for the copy of Angeli, using Angeli's effect, summoning a copy of Hootcake, using the Hootcake to banish the Angeli, and here the Crow is going to be activated, so, you know, the copy of Hootcake here isn't going to resolve, and let's see, probably going into another rank 3, and let's see what they're going to choose to actually go for here. They definitely want to clear the monsters in some sort of way, but instead, I guess they really can't much in this position, so going for Levier, using the effect, and summoning Ice Hand, oh wait, that actually will do it. Here, going and being able to crash into the copy of Ice, Fire Hand is going to trigger, and here it looks like they're going to go after the Ice, because Ice would be able to clear either the Levier or the Fire Hand, and then Fire Hand is going to float into a copy of Ice Hand, and back over to Blab, who now gets a copy of Max C. They probably would have liked to see that a little earlier, but here we're going to see the Urnite going and summoning, going to battle phase, running over the copy of Levier, and then running over the copy of Ice Hand before going to main phase 2. And let me see what's in their graveyard. 2 copies of Crusader and the Ice. And if I'm not mistaken, Blab might have only been on 2 copies of Crusader and the Ice. So maybe these aren't even able to trigger here, which definitely could cost them in a lot of cases. Let's see here, overlaying into a copy of Emerald, using the effect and shuffling back Ice, Crusader, and a copy of Crow. So shuffling those back, getting a copy of Urnite. Again, just a great draw for them here. And here Riftwa gets a copy of Instant Fusion, so Hootcake Instant Fusion is going to be full combo, though they are going to have to play through this Max C if they choose to. So summoning the Hootcake and using the effect to banish the copy of Fire Hand. Max C is going to be chained to that. Messengelato is going to be summoned. Here, Blab gets a copy of Diamond Core. Messengelato is going to add a copy of Ticket. After that Ticket's activated, Instant Fusion's activated, summoning a copy of Fusionist. They summon the copy of, Fusionist, so that means they're probably, are they on 2 Levier? They are on 2 Levier there, which isn't like the most uncommon thing here. Blab gets a copy of Wolfbark. The Levier is going to summon back the copy of Angeli. Here, Blab gets a copy of DD Crow, overlaying into a copy of Tiramisu, using the effect, and Blab just keeps drawing over there, shuffling back 2, it looks like, or actually, let me see, Crow versus Tiramisu, asking for a friend, still resolves. Yeah, it should still resolve, because I'm pretty sure this says up to 2 Madolche cards. So here, shuffling back the Hootcake and Messengelato, and then bouncing back the copy of Emerald there, and then here Ticket is going to trigger and summon a copy of Angeli, and that is just enough. So honestly, the perfect amount of draws from Riftwa, paired with, you know, Blab almost suffering from success, just having access to everything and not having enough Crusaders, it seemed like, to actually pop off the turn prior, is a little unfortunate, but hey, congrats to Riftwa. Really nice showing from Madolche. Taking down this event is really cool, and even, you know, seeing Koa'Ki Meiru Fire Fist hands in the final is also really impressive. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it, comment any questions or videos you want to see in the future, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get notified anytime I put a new video out, share this video with your friends, and anyways guys, I will see you in the next video.